Right, let's take you to Melbourne now. And the man we're about to hear from, the Essendon, well, is he still the captain of the Bombers? Zach Merrett, much anticipated this one
I
after
feel it.
he
Yeah, it was nice to come back
proposed a move to
2 weeks ago
Hawthorn in the off-season. It
after the
fell
league.
over. It was quite
Blew
high
all over.
profile.
Yeah.
He's back at Windy Hill.
No, it's
This is
been
what
nice
he's
to
had
get
to
back.
say.
Obviously, I've had 12 years here, so I've got some amazing relationships and connections with players and stuff. So, albeit maybe the first half an hour was a little bit awkward. I'm sure people were a little bit on eggshells, but I wanted to come in and make sure that those people felt as comfortable as possible. So I bounced in, excited to be back kicking a footy, and to have 5 new debutants walk in this morning. I think there's a buzz around the joint at the moment.
Zach, you probably had a fair bit of time sort of post everything that happened in the trade period to when you walk into the club. What do you think about, what do you reflect on during that time to get yourself ready to come back?
Yeah, I was fortunate to get away up north and spend some time with family, and then also with my personal psych, which was amazing, and just worked through how I can be the best player and best teammate when I got back. So it was nice to have a little bit of a break. That sort of first 6 or 8 weeks didn't really feel like an off season, clearly with what was going on. So to get away and freshen up mentally and physically and come back really composed and calm, and walk through the elephants in the room and get forward as a footy club. I'll play my role in that as much as I can. And to be honest, Walshy and those guys have been really supportive and encouraging and loving since I've been back. So I'm just keen to get here. Unfortunately, run another 2K, but keen to run around and get a kick.
Do you feel differently about the club now than what you did at the end of the season when you felt like your timeline, the club timeline looked really different? Like, has enough happened here that you feel like there's a future here beyond maybe 1 or 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the strange part and the illusion of what happened through those 6 weeks. There was never a loss of faith in the club and where they were going in their direction. And the relationships through that phase, I can only deal with the conversations that were had during that period of time with Brad, Matt Rosa, and Craig Vozzo, and they were all very, very good and supportive in the conversations we had together personally. So from that point of view, I feel really comfortable. And then as a club, I'm always going to love the club. It's a club that's been around for 150 years. There's tradition, history, and so many key figures in that period of time that create what is the Essendon Footy Club. So plus 80,000 members and a fan base that's spanned 150 years. So I know when you talk the club, there's personnel and there's a club and there's all of it together, and I feel fully supported.
We spoke with Brownlow about how you felt still so supported by the key figures at the club during that period. But now that you're back, face to face looking your teammates in the eye, like, do you get the sense the relationships are still really strong?
Yeah, I mean the teammate again. I shouldn't laugh, but through that period of time, a number of conversations. I think obviously publicly you just see a couple of articles and that creates a bit of noise, but I think those boys have been really supportive of Brad and the relationships that he has across the board, which I completely understand the club put in that position and those boys speaking out about that. Whereas for me, behind closed doors, I had a million conversations with players through phone calls, through text messages, through coffees, through walks. So at no point did I feel like there was a loss of trust or a disconnect with the playing group. We've sat down already, those 2 boys and the leaders, and talked through what's next and how they can help and how I can get back integrated and help those guys and help the group moving forward. So there's no animosity, and I'm looking forward to, as I said, those 5 boys coming in, seeing their highlight reels gives me a lot of optimism and excitement, and I've got no doubt fans are going to be pretty excited too.
Will you still be captain next year?
I think there's still a bit to work through there, clearly. There's a lot going on for me and also for those key leaders through that period of time. So I think now all the stings out of it, the emotions past, those conversations will probably happen moving forward, and there'll be a process clearly that evolves into that. But I'm not head fast on what that'll look like. It'll be what it'll be.
In terms of just for you personally, like over the last few months, how did it, I guess, impact your life and your lifestyle, the way that it's all played out? Like, leave the house and those kind of things. Like, how intense has it been for you in your personal life?
Yeah, I mean, I probably could spend an hour talking about that and how it went down every day. But I think it's something that is so intense in Melbourne. It's what makes our great game so incredible, and the passion that supporters have is fantastic, and the media support of that is what makes our ecosystem so incredible in world sport. And when you see it in other people, you think it's just noise. When it's you, it feels intense and starts to come and cave you in a little bit. So for 6 weeks it was just sitting at home and bunkering down. I couldn't really leave the house, but again, I made the decision. I'm not looking for sympathy. I chose to do something, and I knew there'd be consequences or backlash from that decision. And again, I've been through it. We'll move forward, and I'm pretty keen to get back and get a kick.
You spoke about how excited you are seeing the draftees come in, watching here, can you be the man to lead this club into that next phase, back to the finals, back to the big game?
Yeah, again, regardless of official titles or not, nothing will change on my end. I feel like over 12 years I've spent a lot of energy and time learning, developing how I can impact and influence as best I possibly can. So I don't see any of that changing on and off field. And we've obviously got a really young group, but they're very connected, very close, and they're driving the club forward themselves. But I'll be certainly there to guide and help as much as I can and support the other leaders around the place. Obviously, being the oldest player now, it was a bit interesting seeing those draftees were born in 2007, but that probably shows my age at the moment. But I'm looking forward. Yeah, as I said, nothing will shift or change. I'll keep trying to be the best player I can be to help the team, and then guide as much as I can as well.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Hey,
Thanks, guys. Cheers. Thanks, mate.
That is Zach Merrett back at Essendon. So the high-profile discussion around him during the off-season was Zach Merrett, the Essendon captain, trying to force a trade through to Hawthorn. He was quite adamant he wanted it to happen. Instead, the Bombers stood firm. They couldn't come to a deal. Merrett is now back at Essendon, and that move to Hawthorn will now not eventuate. And Merrett has to reintegrate himself with the group. You heard him talk there about lots of discussions with anyone and sundry, really, who wanted to have a coffee with him and have a chat about why he decided he wanted out of the club at that particular point and to try something new at this stage of his career, but also what it means for his leadership as well moving forward. Whether Zach Merrett does remain the captain of the Essendon Football Club does remain an unanswered question. But he is back there, back reporting for pre-season, trying to clear the air, not only with the supporters via the media, but also his teammates as well, to try and get that club back where they believe they should be, and it's not where they currently are, which is missing finals and really not threatening on that front. So that was one of the big stories during the trade period that will bubble along a little bit through the off-season until they do make a call on whether Zach Merrett is going to be the captain of the Essendon Football Club moving forward. But as they say, winning fixes everything. And if the Bombers can get back to doing that, then a lot of the discussion and noise around Zach Merrett and where Essendon are at as a club at the moment under Brad Scott will go away, because all they'll be focused on is the fact that they're winning games of football and setting their sights on finals again. So that is Zach Merrett here on Fox Sports News this morning.